ho! Hello there! Well, today we have a new book for you. It's brand new out, and it's by Mike Hughes, and it's Santa Doesn't Bake Cookies. And Santa Doesn't Bake Cookies. It's been 300 years or more since I baked a loaf of bread. I learned the recipe in a village near the ocean's edge, and the recipe is somehow forever stuck in my head. Moreover, I haven't used a cooling rack since the Turkish sultans reigned, and I haven't touched a flat baking pan since pirates hoisted the Maine. However, I've baked a pizza in Italy, and when the Romans ruled as they pleased, I've also cooked lots of spaghetti pasta with extra Parmesan cheese. To make the spaghetti perfect, add giant meatballs if you please. Sometimes I make beef stroganoff a famous Russian dish. I've even made buttered chicken and eaten eggs from a fish. But I don't bake cookies. In New Zealand, I've grilled mussels. In Australia, I've done shrimp on the barbie. In Fiji, I've baked a whole tuna in leaves. I've grilled and baked lots of things, but I won't bake cookies. I've stirred fried veggies in China. I think roast duck is very nice, but I go to Hong Kong all the time for my fix of pork and rice. Now in Mexico, I've made little tacos on a grill inside a van. I love to eat fresh hot taquitos while I'm working on my tan. I've even baked a cherry pie in England. In France, I baked a baguette. In Germany, I baked apple strudel. I still refuse to bake cookies. So I've baked, roasted, grilled around the world. I've cooked on all the 7 seas. You can even ask Mrs. Claus. Go ahead, if you please. But I won't bake cookies, and I can elaborate with ease. You see, I work perfectly fine in the toy shop, but in the kitchen I have to confess that sometimes I get in over my head and make a rather perfect mess. Sometimes I use too much butter or add too many chocolate chips. It's easy to add too much sugar or use enough flour to sink ships. Quite the mess. I've made some hardened cookies that could break a person's front teeth. I've burned a few cookies so badly that we buried them in snow deep beneath. I try to follow the recipes as closely as I can, but if 2 eggs work, why not 3? I ask myself offhand. Whoops. Oh. And then there's the problem with salt. Baking soda and vegetable oil. Raisins and oatmeal I find quite distracting, and who knew peanut butter could spoil? On top of all this, every Christmas season, I seem to collect a cookie or two. It first became a problem back around 1492 when people began leaving cookies out with a glass of milk and a carrot or two. I had to stop baking cookies because I was gifted cookies instead. I might eat a cookie in one home, then across to the neighbor's home I head. To do this in every village, town, and city, I do this nationwide. Then on to the next nation, country, or city-state, I repeat my one night's ride. And the cookies I don't eat right away, I place them in the empty bags inside my sleigh. So the more homes and dwellings that I visit, the more my bags begin to weigh. Now, by the time I return to the North Pole, the bags with cookies are unbelievably full. I don't know how they keep from crumbling in flight, but on landing they remain just right and whole. At first I kept the cookies in the cupboard. Then we used to keep the spice. Yeah. Later I kept them in the barrel where we used to keep the rice. I would share the cookies with the elves and anyone who might pass by, but the cookies began to pile up, and so I began to stack them high. Right before Magellan's last voyage, I began to run out of cookie space. To find enough room for all the cookies became an endless race. I couldn't eat them fast enough before the next Christmas came round. I began putting them in reindeer grain silos and even hiding them underground. But then I had an epiphany and I figured out what to do. To stay healthy, I would eat just a few and the rest turn into in-flight fuel, sort of. You see, if I took sugar out of the cookies and then added moss, oats, and grain, then I could feed reindeer snacks anytime, and the sugar could be used to make candy canes. So I guess I do bake cookies, sort of, but not for you or I. I bake reindeer fuel power booster bars that help reindeer fly through the sky. Santa's eating a candy cane there. However, if you leave a cookie out for Santa, I might just take a small bite like a mouse, but I don't or won't or shouldn't or couldn't bake cookies unless I bake them with you at your house. We could bake cookies at your home if you don't mind a little mess. Just have the fire extinguisher ready. What could happen is anyone's guess. And that's the end.